Good evening from the WTAE Weather Center. We have a weather update, an important one to pass along to you. We've been watching these thunderstorms develop in parts of Ohio and move into and across now parts of southwestern Pennsylvania. The main focus for much of the time, at least for the heaviest stuff, has been across Washington, Greene, and Fayette County. We've had a number of severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued from time to time. We've seen an upgrade with some of these storms showing some rotation, briefly and weak at times. National Weather Service has seen enough of a rotation with this particular thunderstorm to issue a tornado warning that's in effect for the extreme southern part of Washington County, mostly in the northern tier of Fayette County, or I should say Greene County. That goes until 7:45. The warning includes the Waynesburg area back toward East Findlay. And looking at radar right now, you kind of want to look for a little bit of a hook echo where you see winds of opposing direction coming in, and we're seeing that right now just to the west of East Findlay. This would be the area that we would expect to see some of that rotation. A lot of the rotation with these storms so far has been fairly weak and short-lived. This one is significant enough that the National Weather Service sees fit to issue the tornado warning. Again, it goes until 7:45, so for about another 30 minutes right now, if it's not canceled early, if the rotation weakens. You can see on the bigger picture, pockets of heavy rain all across the areas, primarily south of Pittsburgh. There is some light rain falling to the east, but the heaviest rain is now shifting to the east side of the 79 corridor from Cannonsburg and Washington over toward Findlayville, Bentleyville, parts of the Mon Valley, right down the Mon River, Monongahela down toward Monessen and California, and a couple really healthy thunderstorms with no warnings currently attached to them, but still heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, and gusty winds. One is now around the Connellsville area, another one that's moving through the Brownsville area that the National Weather Service just added a new warning for. That one likely goes until 7:45 as well. So two active warnings in effect right now for parts of Fayette, as well as Greene and southern Washington County. These warnings go until 7:45. I'm going to step out of frame and manipulate the map somewhat to show you just a little better view as to what we are seeing outside at the moment. Again, the warning that was just issued for Fayette County goes until 7:45. The storms have been moving to the east and southeast at a rate of about 25 to 30 miles an hour. The one in Fayette County, the new warning that was just issued, again, it's right around the Allison-Cardale area, just on the east side of the Mon River. Heavy rain in Brownsville, but the healthiest part of this particular storm is moving by just to the north of the Uniontown area. So heads up in Uniontown, the storm is headed in your direction. Skies are likely darkening, and the storm will be rolling in probably over the course of about the next 20 to 30 minutes. The tornado warning that we have in effect for parts of Washington, southern Washington, and primarily Greene County. It looks like the rotating part of this particular storm, which we can circle it right here, would be in this general vicinity. Let me show that to you. It'd be in this general vicinity right here, right around West Findlay. That's moving in this particular direction. So it's moving into primarily northern parts of Greene County at the moment. We're going to use what we call relative velocity. It shows winds of opposing direction, and you can see that rotation that we're seeing right there around the West Findlay area and the Burdett area. Here's where the rotation has been detected by the National Weather Service, and that's why the warning has been issued. The storm itself, again, moving in this particular direction, so it's going to be moving by just to the north of Graysville, but you should be taking shelter as we speak. Stay away from the windows and find yourself on the lowest level of the home if possible. That could be a basement. Hopefully it's a basement. If you don't have a basement, just get to an interior room away from the windows and put as many walls, I should say, between you and the storm as possible. So again, we have this tornado warning for parts of Washington and Greene County, yes, until 7:45, but the rotating part of the storm is primarily now in through northern parts of Greene County. The county line runs right around here, just south of East Findlay and just to the north of West Union. So here's your county dividing line pretty much. I'm going to draw it right here. So this is primarily, and here's your rotating part of the storm right here. That's what the warning was issued for. So while it still is raining very hard in East Findlay and the Prosperity area, I don't think you're at risk to see the rotating part of this storm. It is off to your south. It's primarily focused in through parts of Greene County. So again, that warning is slated to go until 7:45. Again, let's take a look at where that rotation is occurring. Right here, just south of East Findlay, right near the West Findlay area, Burdett, and then down toward the Graysville area. So there is the rotating part of this particular thunderstorm. As I mentioned, in watching these storms as they've been coming out of Ohio over the course of the last couple of hours, there was some brief rotation associated with some of these storms, but nothing that was really sustained or significant for any period of time. This particular one, a little bit different as seen by the National Weather Service, and hence the warning that has been issued until 7:45. So again, the bigger picture here shows many areas, especially from Pittsburgh on north, seeing little or nothing coming from the skies right now. As you're in Beaver County, also Butler, Lawrence County, it's dry as a bone at the moment, albeit very humid outside. And the heaviest weather has been moving through Washington, now northern Greene, and into Fayette County as well. You can see that other warning that is in effect for Fayette County. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 7:45. This storm at times has also showed some weak signs of rotation, but primarily the threat has been for potential wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, in addition to heavy rain and cloud-to-ground lightning. The storm itself, we can take a look at the breakdown of the storm as we see it. It is moving again to the east-southeast at about 24 miles an hour. A small chance of some hail, and should be arriving in the Uniontown area coming up in about 30 minutes from right now, so about 7:50. But the main warning right now, at least the most serious one, is the tornado warning, primarily for northern Greene County right now. The storm is on its way toward the Sycamore area, so it is heading in an east-southeast direction. We can take a look at some of the particulars of that, of the storm there, and you'll notice, let's get those parameters up. It's moving east at 24 miles an hour. Again, the hail and the rotation, which is why the National Weather Service issued the warning. At the moment, it's just radar-indicated rotation. We have had no visual confirmation of a funnel that has touched the ground, but we do have the radar that has indicated the rotation that could be reaching the ground, and as a result, the National Weather Service issuing the warning until 7:45. Looks like primarily for the northern, most northern tier of Greene County, right along the county line with Washington County right now. So again, we take a look here at where the rotation is occurring, and again, it's in that same area just to the south and east of West Findlay, now just east of Burdett, and just to the north of Graysville. Here's where the rotation has been detected. The red and the green mean winds of opposing directions. Some of the wind is moving toward the radar beam, some is moving away from it. That gives us that signature rotation. We call this a gate-to-gate shear or gate-to-gate winds, which means they're moving at opposing directions, and you get that rotation as a result. Pretty clear where you can see that rotation right there to the east of Burdett right now. The warning itself until 7:45, so for another 20 minutes from right now. Overall, again, you can see the severe thunderstorm warning that is moving through parts of Fayette County right now, headed toward the Uniontown area. Let's put it into motion, and you can see how things have evolved over the last 30 minutes, everything kind of shifting to the south and east. We were expecting thunderstorms in the area with the potential for some to get strong. These particular ones have been especially interesting in coming across Ohio with the rotation they have been exhibiting, at least relatively weak, but they've held together over a pretty good length of time over the course of the last couple of hours. I want to show you a different perspective here to show you how some of the winds have been going. This is where you see all those colors, the greens and the reds. That's where we've detected at least minor or minimum rotation over the course of the last couple of hours. So you can see how the storms have been rotating, at least minimally, coming across parts of eastern Ohio through the West Virginia Panhandle, just north of Wheeling, and into parts now of southern Washington and northern Greene County. Also, there's been some weak rotation to the south of Washington. So the storms have been impressive just in the sense that they have not lost any of their gusto as they've been working their way toward the south and east, even though some of the locations that they're moving through have already seen some rain. Typically, when you get some rain, that will stabilize the atmosphere somewhat and prevent storms from maintaining any severity that would roll in behind it. This is a particularly interesting setup in that the storms have maintained their intensity. They're moving just fast enough to stay just strong enough to continue to produce severe thunderstorm characteristics, which are wind speeds in excess of 60 miles an hour, hail that could be greater than 3/4 of an inch, in addition to heavy rain and cloud-to-ground lightning. Again, the tornado warning for extreme southern Washington County and Greene County. It's right along the county line, is in effect until 7:45, so that's about another 20 minutes from right now. And as we get in again, we can show you where that rotation is occurring, where you can see kind of these two areas coming together. That's where we have what we call that gate-to-gate shear, or winds coming in from opposing directions. So that's in that same vicinity. We'll wait for the next update with the storm itself moving at a rate of about 20 to 25 miles an hour to the south and east. So there's your rotation, and here's the direction it is moving in. It is going to be moving by just to the north of Sycamore and the Swartz area, coming up probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So at this point, you should be taking cover. Find yourself a nice sturdy room, hopefully the lowest level of your home, hopefully a basement, but stay away from the windows and put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. So find an interior room and just hunker down for a period of about 15 minutes until the storm passes. The severe thunderstorm warning for Fayette County goes until 7:45 as well. You can see the storm has a possibility of producing some small hail, less than half of an inch in diameter, in addition to cloud-to-ground lightning and gusty winds. That particular storm, again, it's moving toward the Uniontown area, so it's coming right down Route 40, right now centered over Cardale, going to be moving through Haddonville and then down toward the Uniontown area coming up in the next 15 to 20 minutes. You can see it kind of extends back toward East Riverside. So it's now on the east side of the Mon River, heading through parts of Fayette County down toward Jumonville, eventually coming up in the next 30 minutes. The tornado warning for southern parts of Washington and northern parts of Greene County still in effect until 7:45. The rotating part of this particular storm is in the extreme northern tier of Fayette County. It's really right along, or I should say Greene County. It's really right along the county line. Your rotation is right here, as it has been just to the east of Burdett right now, and it's moving in an east-southeasterly direction. Just got another update from the radar sweep, and we're going to take a look at where those rotating winds still occurring just north of Graysville right now. Going to be moving down toward the Sycamore and Swartz area coming up in the next 15 minutes. So to recap here, if you're just joining us, we have two active warnings in effect right now. South of Interstate 70 is what are areas primarily being affected, and the heaviest activity so far late this afternoon, headed toward early evening, has been Washington, as well as now Fayette and Greene counties. That's where the heaviest storms have been rolling through over the course of the last couple of hours. Washington County has been particularly hard hit with some heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, and likely some gusty winds in several locations. A lot of that is now shifting to the south and east, getting ready to cross over the Mon River. Many parts of the area, if you're watching from parts of Butler, Beaver, as well as Lawrence or even Armstrong counties, little or no rain is falling right now, probably just some clouds, maybe a few peaks of sunshine, and even in through parts of Westmoreland County. The rain is generally of a lighter variety. The focus, as has been the case, is Washington County and parts of Fayette County, as well as Greene County. So the areas primarily being impacted. The rotating thunderstorm, the potential tornado, is now here in northern parts of Greene County. Here's your rotating part of the thunderstorm, right around the Graysville area. So that's just to the south of the county line, and it's moving in this direction. So it's moving toward Sycamore, and it's going to come in just north of Waynesburg. Waynesburg, I know it's not raining for you right now, and I think you're in the clear from the rotating part of this thunderstorm. It should be moving by just to the north, probably by about 3 or 4 miles. And areas to the south of Waynesburg, I think you're in good shape. Even though you're in the tornado-warned area, I don't think the rotating part of the thunderstorm is coming to you in the Holbrook or Brant Hill area. I think you're in good shape. Actually, I think the rain itself is going to stay to your north as well. It's really kind of a focused area just to the north of Graysville right now that we're moving in on for that rotating part of the thunderstorm. Again, 2 active warnings in effect right now. The tornado warning for Greene County for another 15 minutes until 7:45, and the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for a very small part of Greene County, but primarily Fayette County. That's where the storm is. Carmichael's you're not seeing any rain and you're in the warning area, I get it, but the storm has already passed you by, so you're in good shape there. It is primarily focused along that corridor of Route 40 between Brownsville and Uniontown, which would include Briar Hill, Cardale. It's getting ready to lighten up, the rain is, as well as Uniontown area. It's rolling in right now, rain picking up in intensity. If you're watching from the Uniontown or Hopwood area, you can expect to see heavy rain for a period of about 10 to 15 minutes, in addition to the likelihood of gusty winds and maybe even the possibility of some small hail. So let's track this out for you, and we'll show you where it's expected to be. Uniontown, it's going to take about another 20 minutes for the back edge of this particular storm to move through the area. So you have about a 20-minute window when it's going to rain like heck, and you're going to get some of those gusty winds, and again, the possibility of some small hail there as well. The tornado warning, which is the heightened warning, if you will, Greene County until 7:45. So for another 15 minutes from right now, still seeing that definitive rotation in the same area, just to the west of the Sycamore area right now. Graysville seems to be ground zero for this rotation at the moment. As was indicated, or as is indicated by Doppler radar. There is where the red and greens hook up. That's where you're seeing you have winds coming in from one direction here, and you have winds coming in from one direction here, and that's how you get that rotation that occurs. The question is, how long will it maintain that rotation? It's been pretty consistent for the last 15 minutes or so to watch it just kind of hold true. As I mentioned, over the course of the last couple of hours, some of these storms that have been coming across Ohio did briefly exhibit some rotation, but not for any length of time, not long enough to issue any sort of tornado warning. This one has been more stubborn with that rotation for a longer period of time. That's why we have the tornado warning for another 14 minutes until 7:45. Also for another 14 minutes, the severe thunderstorm warning for the northwestern part of Fayette County that includes the Uniontown area and back up Route 40 toward Brownsville, although rain has likely lightened up in the Brownsville and California area. The heaviest activity is between Brownsville and Uniontown right now. We just got a fresh update here, so let's check some of the parameters of some of these storms. For the one in Fayette County, the heaviest, or at least the core of the storm, should be overhead in the next 12 minutes or so. And again, we're still seeing some hail possibility of about a half an inch or less in diameter, moving east-southeast at 24 miles an hour. The rotating thunderstorm is going to be coming by just north of Waynesburg in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Again, it looks like it's going to move by just north, but you can see as we run down the parameters here in the box, this BTI, that gives you an indication of how high our radar is picking up on rotation. When you get a rotation usually greater than 4, that's a pretty significant rotation. Right now, we're showing a 7 in terms of that particular parameter. So a good chance this not only storm is rotating, but potentially touching the ground. We'll have to wait for confirmation, either from a visual confirmation or from a storm survey that the National Weather Service will likely conduct during the day tomorrow. So again, you can see that storm moving to the east at about 24 miles an hour. So if you look at those particular arrows, those are the places within the path of that storm. That would include Sycamore, Swartz, Rough Creek. If it continues in this path, it's going to miss you in the Waynesburg, Rogersville area. I get it. You're in the warning right now. You probably got an alert, perhaps on your cell phone as well, about a warning in your area. But it's really focused in these particular areas, these particular neighborhoods. This is a fairly rural setup. Sometimes houses are great distances apart in this particular part of Greene County, but Rough Creek, Deer Lick, Swartz, Sycamore. These are all neighborhoods and locations that are in the path of the rotating part of the thunderstorm. Waynesburg, you are not. Rogersville, you are not. You're in the warning, but the storm itself, at least the rotating part, is going to be going by to your north over the course of the next 10 to 11 minutes, maybe slightly longer than that. The warning itself goes until 7:45. Again, the storm is out now of Washington County. This particular storm is out of Washington County. Here's your county line right here. I'll draw it in for you as best I can. That's your county line with Washington. So the storm is primarily northern Greene County right now. It's shifted south of East Findlay and to the east of West Findlay at the moment. So the warning itself should only be alerting those folks that I mentioned in that northern tier of Greene County until 7:45. Again, we still do have the severe thunderstorm warning for Fayette County until 7:45. The storm, the heaviest part of it, closing in on the Uniontown area, and it's likely going to continue down Route 40 toward Chalk Hill and Ohio Pile, coming up toward and past the 8 o'clock hour. You can also see some heavy pockets of rain and likely some gusty thunderstorms in other parts of the area. We get in for a closer look just south of the I-70 corridor. Getting ready to lighten up with the rain in South Strabane. Bentleyville, the rain is going to pick up for you. Again, you've already been hit once. This is the second round coming through. Scenery Hill is not a good scene right now with the heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, and potentially gusty wind. Same in Clover Hill and Bellsville as well. You can take a look further north. Heavy rain in through parts of the Mon Valley, just on the east side of the Mon River, so just to the east of Monongahela right now, on and over toward the Sudresville area, so crossing over into parts of Westmoreland County. If you're just joining us, the reason we're on air bringing you continuous coverage is for the tornado warning that is impacting parts of northern Greene County. It goes for another 10 minutes until 7:45. The storm itself has shown stubborn and persistent signs of rotation over the course of about the last 20 minutes. The warning was issued right around 7:15, so it's been ongoing for about 21 minutes now, and we're still seeing some of that red and green. I know I keep going to this, and you're saying, what are you showing me, Jeff? What's this green and red? Well, that's where you have those winds of opposing directions coming in, and it's Graysville has been, as I said, pretty much ground zero for a lot of the rotation over the course of the last 20 minutes. The storm is now just to the south and east or east-southeast of Graysville. It is moving in this direction. I've mentioned Sycamore several times. It's going to be coming through your neck of the woods, the rotating part, in the next 10 to 12 minutes, and also likely Reese Mill. Should stay to the north of Waynesburg right now. If you want to be on the safe side, and why not, just go to the lowest level of your home in Waynesburg. And if you're watching from the Waynesburg area, as it moves by to your north, you're probably going to see some really, really dark cloud cover, some really interesting cloud development as well. Storms like this tend to give us what we call those rolling clouds, or the cumulonimbus that can go several tens of thousands of feet into the atmosphere. Those are going to be visible for you in Waynesburg just to your north as we speak. But I don't want to stress I want to stress to everybody, I should say, to stay away from the windows. Don't feel the need to grab your camera phone and go out and get a photo for social media. Wait until the storm passes. The most important thing is for you and your family to stay safe. The best way to do that is to go to the lowest level of your home, likely a basement. If you do not have a basement, you want to go to the most interior room of your home. You want to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible and stay away from the windows. It seems like common sense, but sometimes common sense is somewhat uncommon, so we want to make sure we mention that from time to time to not put yourself in any danger. 2 active warnings in effect right now. Tornado warning for Greene County until 7:45, and a severe thunderstorm warning for Fayette County. That one goes until 7:45 as well. So both right now are expected to go for another 7 minutes. Until 7:45. The heaviest part of the storm now moving into the Uniontown area of Fayette County with heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, and gusty winds. Also, perhaps maybe some small hail being squeezed out of this particular part of the thunderstorm. There is a history there of some small hail from this storm, but it's going to be moving right down Route 40 toward Chalk Hill, Farmington, and Ohio Pile, so heads up in those directions. You may be getting an extension of this warning in your direction as we approach the 7:45 cutoff date for this particular warning. We still have the tornado warning for Greene County. That's until 7:45 as we're still seeing some of that rotation. It doesn't look from the radar scan as well defined as it did just about 20 minutes ago, so maybe the rotation is weakening somewhat. And that's the hope here, at least moving forward over the next several minutes. It's not quite as well defined on the radar scope. We're still seeing rotation, though, on our relative velocity, which is those winds of opposing direction. But the radar scan does show some promise in terms of the storm itself, at least that part of it, the rotating part of it, weakening. Nonetheless, there is still some heavy rain in through parts of that northern tier of Greene County, just north of Waynesburg. Waynesburg, the rain is picked up for you. Again, the rotating part of it is headed towards Sycamore, so it's likely just going to miss you. Also in the Rogersville area, you're seeing the storm go by just to your north by about probably 3 to 5 miles, nothing more than that, as it heads in an east direction at about 25 miles an hour. So Lippincott, you're in the path of this particular storm as well. The rain is picking up for you, but the worst of it is still to come in terms of the rain and the potential wind damage that's associated with some of these storms. A little further north out of the warned area, if you're watching from Bentleyville, Scenery Hill, Clover Hill, you're seeing heavy rain and perhaps some gusty winds and small hail as well. No warning, but still a very gusty thunderstorm that's moving through your neck of the woods as well. So this is up Route 40 a little further. So it's headed down Route 40 as well. So you may get a second round of some heavy rain coming through the California and Brownsville area over the course of the next few minutes. So we have a new warning that has now been issued by the National Weather Service. This one, a tornado warning that's in effect for Fayette County. This would include the Uniontown area. We're now seeing signs of rotation in this particular area as well. And there you see what we're picking up on. Right in this particular area here, right around Uniontown, the storm has started to rotate, and the National Weather Service now issuing a warning for you in the Uniontown area for this rotating thunderstorm that's going to be moving through Hopwood, down toward Chalk Hill, Ohiopyle, Farmington. These are all neighborhoods in Fayette County right along that Route 40 corridor that will be in the path of this rotating thunderstorm now. So we now have two tornado warnings in effect for the area, the one for Greene County until 7:45 and the new one for Fayette County that goes until 8:15. That would lead me to believe that the severe thunderstorm warning for Fayette County will be allowed to expire in 4 minutes from right now at 7:45. So if you're just joining us, I apologize for interrupting your regular viewing habits and the regularly programming on our airways right now, but these are warnings that we want to continue to bring important information to people in the path of these storms and keep everyone as safe as possible. Again, as a refresher here, you want to stay in the lowest level of your home. Get to a basement as the storm approaches. Stay there until the storm passes. If you do not have a basement, get to an interior room, as many walls between you and the storm as possible, and stay away from the windows. So we have two active tornado warnings in effect. Both are for areas of parts of Greene County and another one for part of Fayette County right now. Just north of Waynesburg is where the rotating part of this particular thunderstorm is occurring. At this point, I should mention Washington County, East Findlay, West Findlay, you're obviously out of the mix in this. Even though the warning has not been cut back for your neighborhoods, you're out of the mix. It's primarily Sycamore and just north of Waynesburg right now that's seeing the worst of it, as we're seeing that rotation is now shifted just a little further south. That's interesting here because it looks like it's taken more of a southerly route rather than an easterly route, but we're still picking up on that solid rotation that now looks like it may be shifting a bit toward the Rogersville area. So a heads up for you in Rogersville, seek shelter from the storm. Get away from the windows and put as many walls between you and the storm as possible, or get to the lowest level of your home. As we move on over toward Fayette County, not seeing as strong a rotation as the one in Greene County, but still some rotation there as well. That's around the Uniontown and Hopwood area, which is where the initial rotation was detected, and that's why the warning was issued. The storm itself is rotating in this general vicinity, so right over the Uniontown area. Also Hatfield, headed toward Jumonville, and just north of Brownfield. So heads up for you if you're down the road here of Route 40 down toward the Chalk Hill area. It is moving in your direction. So let me give you the particulars on what we're picking up with some of these storms. The one in Fayette County, east-southeast is the direction of movement at 24 miles an hour. Possibility of hail in addition to heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Again, the potential rotation as indicated by Doppler radar. The one in Greene County, we're seeing still strong rotation here. If you were with us earlier, if not, I'll explain this number, the one that's perhaps most interesting here. The one that's at the bottom of this particular box is BTI. That's our tornado rotation index. Typically, when you get a rotation of greater than 4, that's a good indicator that the storm is rotating strongly and the potential is to drop out a tornado. The fact that we've seen this one at 6 or better is a strong indicator that we potentially do have a tornado that has touched the ground. The funnel cloud has touched the ground and it's moving in an east-southeast direction right now. So we have a confirmed now tornado warning. So Doppler radar and perhaps some visual confirmation has come in that someone has seen the funnel on the ground. So we have a tornado on the ground in Greene County right now. You can see with this blinking box right here, this is the warned area. A new warning coming out. This one goes until 8:15. So both tornado warnings are in effect until 8:15, and we're seeing a strengthening, if you will, of the rotation now, just to the west of Waynesburg. It doesn't take much for me to figure out that this is where things are rotating. It's right here is where the rotation is being detected to the west of the Waynesburg area. So that is right around Rogersville, Reese Mill, and if the storm continues to kind of shift in an easterly direction, now it looks like it could be on a direct path with the Waynesburg area coming up in short order here over the next few minutes. So this is a confirmation that a tornado is on the ground in Greene County. The warning goes until 8:15. Please seek shelter. The Waynesburg area as well as Rogersville, Reese Mill. The rotating part of the thunderstorm is coming in your direction. Stay away from the windows. Seek shelter in the lowest level of your home and put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. The second tornado warning in effect for Fayette County. That includes the Uniontown area. The storm moving east-southeast at 24 miles an hour. Possibility of some hail here, about 40% possibility. That it's producing some hail of at least a ½ inch in diameter. The rotation not as strong. You can see again our BTI for the Fayette County warning is at a 3.2, so not rotating as much or as significantly as the storm that's moving through Greene County right now. That's the one where we do have confirmation, whether it be from the radar signature or from somebody on the ground with visual evidence that a funnel is on the ground, or tornado is on the ground just to the west of Waynesburg right now. So 2 active tornado warnings, both are in effect until 8:15. One through the central part of Greene County right now that does include the Waynesburg area, and the other one is for Fayette County. That also goes until 8:15. That currently includes the Uniontown area and points just east and southeast of there, right along the Route 40 corridor, down toward Ohiopyle, Farmington area as well. So 2 active tornado warnings in effect. I'm going to throw it over to Kristen for a minute, and I'm going to get myself a sip of water.
Yeah, Jeff, so as you've been updating everyone, we just want to make sure everyone understands what's the difference between a tornado watch and warning. You heard Jeff talking a lot about this tornado warning. So first, let's talk about a watch. A watch is issued for entire counties where tornadoes may occur, and a warning is issued when a tornado has been sighted or indicated by a weather radar. And Jeff was mentioning what to do as you're hearing this news. You may be at home. So if you are at home, one thing you can do to keep safe, because that's our #1 priority, is go to a basement, a safe room, or the interior room away from windows, as you heard Jeff mention. Of course, now with social media, you may have the urge to get video of that storm, but really we want to keep you safe. So make sure you're in an interior room away from windows at your home. If you happen to be at work, follow a tornado drill that, of course, you have within your company and proceed to your tornado shelter location. If you're outside, make sure that you are seeking shelter inside in a sturdy building immediately. Or if you have a loved one or friend who you know is outside, just give them a text and let them know what's going on here. And make sure you're finding a safe room. So go to the lowest floor wherever you are. Choose an interior room, as we mentioned. Stay away from windows and avoid those large rooms. We're going to toss it back to Jeff. Jeff, you've been really following this and keeping everyone safe as this is ongoing for a little bit more now.
Yeah, it has been ongoing for the last couple of hours. About 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon, started to see some storms blossoming in through parts of southeastern Ohio. We expected them to hold together and move across the area. The interesting part is the ability with which they've been able to maintain their strength as they've been working through the area. Right now, 2 active tornado warnings in effect, one for central parts of Fayette County, the Uniontown area down toward Ohiopyle and Farmington, that one in effect until 8:15. Also, a slightly heightened risk here, the tornado warning in effect for Greene County because there has been confirmation of a funnel on the ground, a tornado on the ground in Greene County, and that the center of rotation is occurring just to the west of the Waynesburg area, so it's coming right through the county seat, Waynesburg of Greene County. You can see this warning goes for points further south. It includes parts of the I-79 corridor, and this one is primarily impacting the roadways, a roadway right along Route 40 from Uniontown down toward the Farmington area. So 2 active warnings in effect. They're scheduled to go for another 25 minutes until 8:15. The storms have a history, even the ones that aren't in the warning area, not only heavy rain, but also cloud-to-ground lightning and some gusty winds associated with the non-warm portion of these thunderstorms. If you're watching from other points in the area, I know it's not doing anything outside your window. If you're watching from Pittsburgh, maybe up toward Cranberry, Beaver Falls, Butler, but we do want to stay on the air with this important information to keep people safe until the warnings do expire. So we will go until the expiration time of 8:15 to keep folks in the path of this storm with up-to-date information and making sure everyone stays safe until the threat has passed. Now, once the threat has passed, at that point, again, after the storms have passed, at that point you want to go out and snap a couple of photos of some of the damage in your neighborhood. We'd love to see them and share them with viewers to see what you have endured over the course of the evening. It's always great information after the fact to see some of the damage that has been done. So after the storms have passed, please feel free to grab photos and send them to us here at WTAE. We'd love to show it to the viewers to see what was happening in your neighborhood over the course of the evening. So 2 active tornado warnings in effect until 8:15. Greene County is the one that we have a confirmed tornado that's just to the west of the downtown Waynesburg area and slightly lesser rotation, not as strong of a rotation in the storm that's moving through Fayette County right now, that's shifting just to the east of Uniontown. Again, that's moving right down that Route 40 corridor. So let me just get in and show you some of the particulars and the parameters associated with some of these storms right now. We'll move in first on the Greene County storm, since this is the primary warning in the area right now, given that there is a confirmed tornado in the area. We take a look at this relative velocity. If you're just joining us, this shows us winds of opposing direction. Right now, the greatest rotation being detected right around the Rogersville area. So this is probably couple 3 miles just to the west of downtown Waynesburg, and the storm itself has been shifting sort of in this direction. So assuming it holds together and that rotation continues to hold its strength, it could be headed down toward the Fordyce area coming up in the next 20 minutes or so. So that is where the rotation is currently detected, right around Rogersville and just to the south of Waynesburg. Waynesburg itself is likely seeing some very heavy rain for sure, and maybe some gusty winds as well, but the actual rotation is just by about 2 or 3 miles off to your west. As we get into the Fayette County situation, tornado warning there until 8:15 for this storm that is now getting ready to shift further to the south and east of the downtown Uniontown area. Uniontown, you're probably going to see the rain lighten up considerably in the next 5 to 10 minutes as the core of the storm continues to shift south and east. Now, we're not seeing as significant of a rotation here. It's not as strong and as significant as the one we are seeing in Greene County, but nonetheless, we're still seeing at least some minor rotation just around the Hopwood, Jumonville area. Maintaining that course, that particular part of the storm, the rotating part, is headed toward Chalk Hill, and eventually maybe down just north of the Farmington area coming up in about the next 20 minutes. So as we've been reminding you over the course of the last probably 30 minutes or so, stay safe, stay away from the windows. Sometimes the allure is there to see what's outside the window, but really we'd rather you stay safe and get to an interior room or the lowest level of your home, ride it out, and then check out the situation after the fact, after the storm has gone and after things have become of a safer nature. Outside of these warned areas, you can also see heavy rain falling right along the Mon River, Monessen, down toward California, into Luzerne and Rice's Landing. So that's right along the Mon River, and that's also shifting in a southeasterly direction. So you're going to get another round of heavy rain in places like Fayette City, as well as the Brownsville area coming up in the next few minutes. 2 active warnings ongoing. Tornado warning with a confirmed tornado in Greene County. That warning goes until 8:15. Still seeing a solid, significant rotation, and we've had confirmation visually from some spotters in the Greene County area of a tornado. At this point, we're not sure as to what areas may have been impacted by that rotation, how long it has been or is on the ground. The National Weather Service will certainly be out tomorrow to assess the area and damage, and they'll have all the particulars as to how strong the rotation is, the tornado is, and what kind of damage was done. There you see that hookup of the red and green, winds of the opposing direction. We call that gate to gate. If you can think of a swinging gate, you have part of the gate that's swinging in this direction, part of the gate that's swinging in this direction. Those are winds of opposing direction, and that creates that rotation that once it touches the ground, you got yourself a tornado, and that's what we've had, it appears, for about the last 35 minutes since 7:15, almost 40 minutes since 7:15. So this has been ongoing for a considerable period of time. As we take a look at the Fayette County storm, tornado warning again there until 8:15. Still seeing rotation that's now shifting down toward the Chalk Hill area, so coming right down that Route 40 corridor, headed down toward Farmington as well. So it's very close to the Jumonville area right now, the rotating part, and you can see its path is going to carry it near Farmington and toward Ohiopyle. The storm itself moving east-southeast at about 25 miles an hour. 30% chance of half-inch hail in addition to the heavy rain, thunder, and lightning and the gusty winds associated with that storm. So the 2 active warnings in effect right now, the confirmed tornado and the tornado warning moving through Greene County right now, where the most significant rotation has been detected over the course of about the last 45 minutes. And a rotation, slightly weaker, but a rotation nonetheless for the storm moving through parts of Fayette County as well, now shifting just south and east of Uniontown, moving down Route 40 toward Chalk Hill, Farmington, and Ohiopyle. At the very least, anyone in the path of these particular storms is going to see heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, and gusty winds. The targeted area for the rotation is going to be more isolated. You have to be within the path of that particular rotating part of the thunderstorm. And as we take a look, it looks like from this, and I'll keep my fingers crossed here because it gave this appearance before that it was weakening, but at least on radar right now, it looks like that rotation is trying to close up or close off. That would be good. The rotating area that we've been watching very carefully is this particular area that's now just east of Rogersville and just to the south and west of Waynesburg. It looks like that rotation is trying to close up, so that would be a good sign moving forward, at least in terms of the rotating part of this particular storm over the last 45 minutes. We still have those warnings, though, till 8:15, Greene County, central and southern parts of Greene County. It does include parts of Interstate 79 and Route 19, and the storm moving through Fayette County is impacting areas just to the north of Route 40. Route 40 kind of hooks up Uniontown to Chalk Hill and Farmington. The heaviest and the worst of the activity is moving by just north, so it's going to be moving out toward the Ohiopyle area. The rain has already picked up there, but the worst of it is still to come toward you in the Ohiopyle area over the course of about the next 15 to 20 minutes. So the 2 active warnings scheduled to go for about another 17 minutes from right now until 8:15 as the storms continue to move in an east-southeast direction at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. Elsewhere, again, things are much quieter in and around Pittsburgh. No rain is falling. Westmoreland County, it's generally just a light rain falling with the exception of maybe the Sutersville area, West Newton, actually just to the east of Sutersville right now, around West Newton, headed toward New Stanton. You got a heavier downpour of rain. And then, as we indicated, the Mon Valley right there from Monessen right down the Mon River. We mentioned Fayette City, Spears, Redstone, California, Brownsville, down to Allison, number 1 and 2, all seeing heavy rain. Once again, this is your second round of heavy rain over the course of the last 60 minutes. The 2 active warnings include a good chunk of central Greene County right now. That would be the Waynesburg area as well, and points just south of there. And also the tornado warning that's in effect for Fayette County, excuse me, until 8:15 as well. The storm itself has moved, at least the worst part of it, has moved out of the Uniontown area. So the areas that impacted moving forward over the next 15 minutes would be for the areas just to the north of Chalk Hill and Farmington. So if I drew a line right here, everyone in this area, Uniontown, Collier, Fairchance, you're in the clear from the rotating part of the thunderstorm. So we can forget about this area in terms of the warning and really focus our attention on the areas that it's going to be moving through over the course of about the next 15 to 20 minutes. And that would, again, be Jumonville right now, just north of Chalk Hill, and primarily down toward the Ohiopyle area. If you know that area, if you've ever been down there for whitewater rafting or biking or hiking, you know it's a fairly condensed area. So it's going to be moving in that direction over the course of the next 15 to 20 minutes. So the 2 active warnings remain in effect. 15 minutes until the scheduled expiration time for both of the warnings. Let's check an update on our ability to be rotating here. Again, really not picking up much rotation at all from the storm in Fayette County. I do want to get in here. We're starting to lose some of that intensity. It's very minor at this point. You can see where you see some of these green pixels meeting up with red. There still is a very minor rotation there, but not as significant as it was maybe just 15 or 20 minutes ago. Still, though, picking up a significant rotation for this storm in Greene County. That's the one that we've had a confirmation of a tornado on the ground, and as a result, we're really following this one carefully. It's now just to the south of Waynesburg, the rotating part of the storm. You can see Waynesburg right here just to the north, and here's your rotating part of the storm. It is just south of Waynesburg. It is generally moving in this direction. So one of the communities that are in the path would be the Fordyce area at this point. So take shelter. If you're watching or know somebody in the Fordyce area, maybe send a quick text message if you don't think that they're watching carefully as the weather is rolling in, and tell those people to take shelter at the moment to keep themselves and their family safe. So Fordyce looks like it is moving in your direction. On radar itself, we're not seeing a definitive what we call hook echo, but we're still seeing a rotation, so this could be even more concerning that the rotation itself is wrapped in rain. It's not as definitive to the eye as it might be otherwise. So it looks as though we may have at least somewhat of a rain-wrapped rotation at the moment moving through the Greene County area, the central Greene County area. And that's the warning for a confirmed tornado. As I was looking at some of the information that was coming across, my understanding is that there may be some video that was taken by somebody and sent to the National Weather Service, and that's why they said that there was a confirmed tornado moving through Greene County. So the 2 warnings in effect for another 13 minutes from right now until 8:15. Fayette County, and again, this is primarily from about the Chalk Hill area down toward Farmington and Ohiopyle. Uniontown, there's still light rain falling, but you're in the clear from the rotating part of the storm. Jumonville, the rotating part of the storm is just now shifting to your east and southeast. So the rain should be letting up there momentarily, probably within the next 5 minutes. The warning, though, still does continue until 8:15, but it's primarily focused at this point in Fayette County toward the area between Farmington and Ohiopyle. That's where the core of the storm is going to be moving over the next 15 minutes. So again, the 2 warnings until 8:15. And at this point, I do want to apologize as we get into primetime programming here on our ABC side. The fact that you may be tuning in for your regularly scheduled programming and it's being somewhat disrupted by Mother Nature. We do want to stay with us until the warnings expire to keep people in the path of the storm informed and safe. So my apologies if it has disrupted in any way your regularly viewing habits. Please bear with me as we try and keep folks safe that are in the path of the storm. And right now the warnings are slated to expire in 11 minutes from right now at 8:15. If they do expire at that point, we will return you to regularly scheduled programming and then we'll regroup and have more information for you about what we find out at 11 o'clock tonight on WTAE. So 2 warnings in effect right now. One for Greene County, goes until 8:15 with a confirmed tornado on the ground, a very significant rotation here that's been detected for an extended period of time, going on about 50 minutes right now, so that is an extended period of time. Typically, rotations in our neck of the woods don't last for longer, quite honestly, than 10, 15 minutes, but we've seen a consistent return here of a rotation for the better part of about 50 minutes now. And also we have the tornado warning that's in effect for Fayette County until 8:15 as well, so for another 11 minutes from right now, with the main focus at this point being areas to the east and southeast of Uniontown. That would be Chalk Hill, as we've been mentioning, Ohiopyle, the Farmington area, and then eventually the storm is going to move its way toward parts of Somerset County coming up probably after about 8:30 or so. So let's check in on, we're just got a fresh scan here, so let's check in on the rotation. Does not look as daunting as it once did. There still is some minor rotation. You can see with the pixelized red and green right here around the Chalk Hill area. So weak rotation, but a rotation nonetheless, hence the warning is allowed to continue. As we move on over into Greene County, we're still seeing really strong rotation from this particular storm. Now it's just south of Waynesburg by about 3 miles, if that, 2 or 3 miles, getting ready to cross over the rotating part of the storm. Route 19 and Interstate 79, we've given you a heads up in the Fordyce area. It is moving in your direction as well. So there is your rotating part of the storm where the red and greens hook up. Those are our winds of opposing direction. Should it maintain this rotation, this warning may be extended past the 8:15 expiration time. So stick with us and we'll let you know how things are going to play out over the course of about the next 9 to 10 minutes from right now. The whole cluster of rain and thunderstorms moving southeast at a rate of about 25 to 30 miles an hour. The rain is really at this point focused, at least the heaviest stuff, across 2 counties, Greene, Fayette County. There's still some light rain moving through parts of Westmoreland County right now, but it is just that, generally light with the focus of the worst of the weather in through Greene and Fayette County, just about everywhere else. Indiana County, Armstrong, Butler, Lawrence, Beaver, Washington, and Allegheny County, all not seeing rain at this point. I would expect that there's going to be some damage reports coming in from Washington County from earlier this afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. As the storms are coming through there, we did have a couple of warnings that had been issued for parts of Washington County, primarily from Washington across the southern tier of the county. So I would expect that there may be some downed trees and power lines in that particular area as well. The storms were rotating very briefly as they were coming through, not enough though to warrant a warning, but this particular one that we've been following through Greene County has had a rotation for an extended period of time, going on about 55 minutes. We've seen a strong rotation with a storm that's moving toward the Fordyce area right now, just south of Waynesburg. You can still see the warning in effect for Fayette County. It was just cut back, thankfully, because the rotating part is no longer in the Uniontown area. But if you're watching from the Uniontown area, while the rotating part of the storm is gone, you still have some heavy rain that's going to be coming through here over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. And you can see most of the lightning is focused across Chalk Hill, Ohiopyle, and Farmington. There is some lightning elsewhere, but there's a good central focus of thunder and lightning in that particular storm just north of Route 40 around Chalk Hill, Farmington, and Ohiopyle. Some rumbles coming through places like Briar Hill and up toward the Fayette City and Scottdale area, also Connellsville and Dunbar. You're seeing some heavy rain right now, but it should be passing through relatively quickly over the course of about the next, I'll say 15 to 30 minutes at most. The 2 active warnings for another 7 minutes right now go until 8:15. One for Fayette County and one for Greene County. The Greene County one was upgraded because a tornado was confirmed on the ground visually, and the National Weather Service then upgraded to a confirmed tornado warning. And it's no surprise in watching how this has played out over the course of the last 50 minutes, the velocity, which is that gate-to-gate winds that we look for. When we say gate to gate, think of a swinging gate in two directions, and that's exactly what you have here where the red and greens meet up. That shows us winds from opposing directions. So in this particular side, you have winds that are coming in this way, and under this way, you have winds that are coming in from that direction, and that's where they get the rotation. The really interesting part of this and the alarming part is how long we have seen this rotation and how significant it has stayed over that extended period of time. As I mentioned, the Weather Service will be going down to make an assessment in both of these areas tomorrow to determine where and if a tornado touched down in certain locations. And at that time, they'll have a rating as to how strong the tornado was. Specifically in the Greene County area, we've had nothing confirmed thus far in Fayette County other than a Doppler radar indicated rotation, but nothing of a visual nature. But the Weather Service will certainly go down and take a look at any damage that has occurred and determine if a tornado did occur in through parts of Fayette County as well. We're now 5 minutes away from the expiration time of the tornado warning for Fayette County. The core of the storm now shifting east and south of Chalk Hill and just north of Route 40. Right along Route 40, we're seeing some rain around Farmington, but the core of the storm and the rotation, what's left of it, is going to be moving by between Farmington and Ohiopyle. So from the looks of radar right here, here is the rotating part of the storm, and this is the direction it's moving in. So it's going to be moving toward parts of Somerset County coming up here over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. We still have our tornado warning for Greene County, as I mentioned, with a confirmed tornado with a visual confirmation of a tornado on the ground in Greene County. That warning schedule expires 4 minutes from right now, but if we don't see any weakening of that rotation, it may be extended to include other parts of Fayette County, maybe even in parts of Greene County or other parts of Fayette County coming up. So we'll have to wait and see what the Weather Service determines, but we're still seeing decent rotation there, very good rotation at the surface. So this may be extended beyond the 8:15 current expiration time. So 2 active warnings remain in effect in through parts of Greene and Fayette County, scheduled to expire coming up about 4 minutes from right now. I did mention in the Uniontown area, you were in the warning and the rain did lighten up at least briefly. Now the second round is rolling in. You're going to get another burst of some heavy rain, some thunder and lightning. This secondary one in the Uniontown area is probably going to take about 25 to 30 minutes to roll through your neighborhood. So you're not quite done with the heavy weather yet. The warned part of the storm, though, is off to your east and southeast, moving down between Farmington and Ohiopyle. So the 2 active warnings in effect for another 3 minutes. And then we'll see what the Weather Service determines on if to extend. I would think if they extend one, they're probably going to extend the one in Greene County beyond or a new one that could go until 8:30 or longer. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Kristen.
Keeping us updated with your certified most accurate forecast. He has been tracking, as he's mentioned, these 2 active warnings right now. Those go until at least 8:15. We're talking about central Greene County and Fayette County. On your screen right now, though, we've been talking about warnings. So we want to make sure you understand the difference between a watch and a warning. So a tornado watch, that is issued for entire counties where tornadoes may occur. A warning is issued when a tornado has been sighted or indicated by a weather radar. So we're talking about a warning because, as Jeff has said, there has been a confirmed tornado sighting in Greene County there. So we have been tracking that. Right now, you may be watching this asking, okay, so what do I do? If you are at home, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to a basement, find a safe room, an interior room away from windows. If you're at work, you're just going to follow that tornado drill procedure that you've probably learned before within your company. Proceed to your tornado shelter location. If you're outside, if you have a loved one or a friend outside, make sure you're shooting them a text, letting them know what's going on if they're not watching us here on WTAE, but seek shelter inside of a sturdy building immediately. And really, those go-to tips are going to be finding the lowest floor, choosing an interior room, staying away from windows, and avoiding those large rooms. We want to take a look right now. We have some viewer video in It looks like it's showing the storm in Hopwood right there, but this is what people are seeing outside of their windows. This is in Fayette County, where we do have that one tornado warning that is going until 8:15. Again, if you are safe, of course, we'd love to see once that storm passes your area of video and photos. But if you are in the heat of the storm, as Jeff has been talking about, make sure that you are following those safety tips that we have for you, making sure your safety is a #1 priority. So this right now is in Fayette County. That's what people are seeing outside. You do see outside, you see that it looks like, darker skies, what they're seeing right now in that area. This was at 7:55 p.m., we're being told. So that initial tornado warning, of course, we're looking at expiring in possibly 15 seconds. But I know Jeff has been tracking this, saying that it might be continuing. So, Jeff, what have you been noticing now? What's the next steps?
We're still awaiting any continuation of either of these warnings from the National Weather Service, but it is scheduled, both are scheduled to expire coming up within the next 1 minute time frame. So the two active warnings, with all the focus of the weather at this point, well to the south of Pittsburgh and really concentrated across parts of Fayette County and even now on the eastern side of the 79 corridor from Waynesburg. You can see both of the warnings have now been allowed to expire as of 8:15, so that's certainly good news. It's not being the rotation is not being detected as strongly, so the weakening rotation has had the Weather Service allow these to expire at the moment. That doesn't mean the weather is improving. You can see from the radar that we're still seeing heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, and still the likelihood of seeing gusty winds in several locations. So just because there's not a warning in your neighborhood right now doesn't mean the weather has improved to the point where you should step outside. Once the storms do pass, it's likely that there will be some damage in the form of downed trees and power lines. And as you saw from our friend in Hopwood there sharing the video of the angry sky, we'd love for you to share the aftermath with us so we can share it with folks at home to let them know what you have endured over the course of this evening. But at the moment, all warnings have been allowed to expire as of 8:15. If any new ones are issued over the course of the evening, we will have that crawling information for you, and we'll break into programming if necessary to bring you any additional updates. Right now, the focus moving forward from 8:16 through about 9 o'clock will primarily be across portions of Fayette County. I think once we get beyond 9 o'clock this evening, weather should improve for you as well, and we should look for calmer conditions the rest of tonight and through the middle part of the week as well. A complete update of your forecast is coming up tonight on WTAE at 11 o'clock. Actually, before I was getting ready to send it back to programming, but we have a new tornado warning that has now been issued for that extreme southeastern tip of Fayette County. That includes the Farmington area. I'm going to step out of frame so I can get a timing on this. My guess is it probably goes to about 8:45 or so. So let's step out of frame here and give you the updated information at the moment. And that warning goes until 8:45, and that includes that southern part of Fayette County around the Farmington area. We get in for a closer look here and show you who is in the warning right now. That is the Ohiopyle area and just north of Farmington right now. I'm going to put this into animation. I want to show you the last 30 minutes worth of frames so we can get an idea as to how this storm is tracking. You can see from the last 30 minutes of returns, it would appear, unless there's some big shift in the path moving forward as it heads toward Somerset County, it would appear that the storm itself is going to, or at least the worst part of the storm, is going to stay just to the north of that Route 40 corridor, so just north of Farmington as well as Elk Park. Let's see what we're seeing in terms of rotation right here, where the red and greens meet up. We're still seeing some minor rotation here, and the Weather Service has now extended that warning. Here's where your rotation is occurring between Farmington and Ohiopyle. This would be right just to the south of Stonerville. This is where your rotation is, where you have those red and greens that are meeting up right now. So that's where the rotation is occurring, and as a result, that's why the Weather Service has extended this part of Fayette County until 8:45 with a tornado warning as that particular thunderstorm continues to rotate as it moves in a southeasterly direction of about 25 miles an hour. I quickly want to check in on the storm in Greene County right now because for such a long period of time, it was rotating, and there still is some minor rotation but it's not as strong as it once was. So that's a good sign of weakening for the storm that's now on the east side of the I-79 corridor, just south of Fordyce right now. And that's going to be approaching the Mon River coming up here. That particular storm that's around Fordyce and Garrard's Fort is going to be headed toward Greensboro, Mapletown, and Masontown coming up over the course of about the next 20 minutes or so. So we do have one extended warning, the tornado warning for a portion of Fayette County. This is only the southeastern portion of the county, and that rolls until 8:45 right now. So again, the storm itself, the rotating part of the storm looks to be right around, let me show you where it is, right around here. This is where the rotation has been detected right now. And it's gently moving, it looks like, in this direction. If it maintains that direction and there's no shift in the storm, the Farmington area, even though, and I just like to keep people abreast of the situation in their neighborhood. Farmington, yes, you are in the tornado warning. Is the tornado coming toward you? No, it is not. The rotation part of the thunderstorm is just to the north of you. It's actually closer toward the Ohio Pile area. So we've been detailing that. It's actually more towards Stonerville and Ohio Pile. So Farmington, I think you're in good shape right now, at least in terms of the rotating part of the storm. And again, it's going to continue to move in a southeasterly direction and head just to the north of Elk Park. So the warning goes until 8:45. The initial warning here that was for Greene County went into effect at 7:15. So we're now an hour and 5 minutes into a series of tornado warnings that have impacted small parts of Washington County, but primarily Greene and Fayette County. So the storms, as they started blossoming at around 3:30 in Ohio, have taken the better part of 5 hours to cross from the New Philadelphia area of Ohio, across the panhandle of West Virginia, and across parts of southwestern Pennsylvania. The worst of it, by far, has been focused across Washington, Greene, Fayette County. That's where the heaviest rain has fallen, that's where the warnings have been issued, and that's likely where all the damage is going to come in before all is said and done. Right now, the focus looks to be mainly concentrated. There are a couple cells still coming through parts of Greene County right now. I don't want to diminish that. But the main focus in terms of the best coverage is coming through Fayette County again. Rain has picked up in intensity from Uniontown up Route 119 toward Connellsville area. So from also the Hopwood up toward Dunbar, Indian Creek, up toward Scottdale. That's sort of where the cutoff is right now in terms of the rain, and then it extends further south down toward Fairchance, which is just south of the Uniontown area. So you're getting a secondary burst of rain coming through right now, which potentially, in any given spot, given the fact that you're a second round of rain, could lead to ponding of water on roadways. I don't think that's off the table here as well. So at the moment, we have that one tornado warning. Thankfully, the one for Greene County was allowed to expire at 8:15, 7 minutes ago, but we have a new one that was added on for that southeastern portion of Fayette County, and that goes until 8:45, with the core of the storm moving through areas to the north of Route 40. Here's the core of your storm. It's just south of Ohio Pile and Stonerville. There's still raining really hard in those locations, but the rotating part of the storm is coming in right there where you see that red and green. It doesn't look as great on that particular scan as it does on this one, but you can see here's your rotation right here, just south of Ohio Pile and Stonerville. It's headed in this direction. So it doesn't have probably more than about, I'll say 7 to 8 miles to cover before it crosses over into portions of Somerset County. So that's the direction of movement here, is in east-southeast direction at about 20 to 25, maybe 30 miles an hour. The warning scheduled to go for about another 22 minutes from right now until 8:45 for a portion, southeastern portion of Fayette County. Tornado warning, Doppler radar indicated rotation, moving by just to the north of the Farmington area and just to the south of Ohio Pile. Next up in the path here, assuming it holds its strength together, would be areas of Somerset County out toward Humbert and Beachley. It's headed in your direction if you are watching from those portions of Somerset County. So that's what we're seeing on radar right now. Most of the area not seeing rain falling right now. Get out for a big look here, and you can see most of the area. It's dry at the moment from pretty much everyone north of I-70, Washington up to Pittsburgh, Butler, Cranberry, Kittanning, Indiana, all high and dry at the moment, with the focus of the heavy weather primarily in through parts of Fayette County right now. The final push coming through right now, and the quicker we can push this storm out of the area, the better off it will be. 8:45 is the expiration time for the tornado warning for southeastern portions of Fayette County. Storm has shown at least weak to moderate rotation for a period of time, going back to 8, or I should say about 7:30 or so. So this has been going on in Fayette County for the better part of the last hour, and it continues to move in a southeasterly direction. Again, I don't want to give a false sense that it's over with altogether in terms of the rain in Connellsville and Uniontown, because you're getting in that secondary burst right now. But all that also is shifting off to the south and east. In total, I think as we get to 9 o'clock or shortly thereafter, the rain itself will be clearing out of the area, and we'll see calmer conditions for the rest of this evening and overnight tonight. Just got a fresh scan in here, so let's check out the situation in terms of how weak or strong the rotation remains at this point. This particular scan is showing a fairly weak rotation. The area that we've been focused in on is just south here of Ohiopyle, and you can barely see a green pixel here around Victoria, so it looks like the rotation is weakened somewhat, and even on this particular scan. Same area, not as definitive. So good news here is the rotation appears, at least from this updated fresh scan, to be weakening somewhat, and we certainly hope that trend continues moving forward over the course of the next 20 minutes. So tornado warning. If you're just joining us, until 8:45 for the southeastern portion of Fayette County, from Ohiopyle, Farmington, Elk Park, and sort of, if you want to triangulate those three areas, this is sort of your area that's under the gun right now, down through here and then headed over toward Somerset County. That's the direction that the storm is moving at the moment. So we'll continue to stay with us until 8:45. And again, I do want to extend my apologies to anyone that's tuning into ABC for your regularly scheduled Monday evening programming. We do want to keep people abreast of the situation and have updated information about the weather situation, because this is a potentially dangerous weather situation that we've been seeing over the course of the last 60-plus minutes. So we will stay with this until everyone in our area is in the clear. I know you're watching from other parts of the area and saying it's not raining outside my window, Jeff, but it is in other parts of the area. So we certainly want to give and continue to give the weather information we can to everyone in a timely fashion and keep everyone safe until we see this through until the end. Again, another reminder for those folks primarily now in through Fayette County, stay away from the windows. Don't feel the need to run to the back door to grab a photo until the storm has passed. Seek shelter in the lowest level of your home and put as many walls between you and the storm as possible until it passes. Certainly, after the fact, after the storm is gone, after the skies have dried up somewhat and cleared, feel free to go outside. Take a photo. Share it with us. We want to share it with all the viewers in the area to let them know what you've been dealing with over the course of the evening, what you've endured, and how much damage has been done in your neighborhood. All that information is helpful not only to us here at WTAE, but to people around the area, to them to understand, even though it may not have been pouring rain in their neighborhood or gusty winds, that there was some really heavy weather in parts of the area over the course of this evening. So the tornado warning still in effect for another 17 minutes, scheduled to expire at 8:45. And assuming that no new warnings are added, I would expect this to be the final warning, as the storm by 8:45, if not sooner, should be out of Fayette County altogether. So we have about another 15 minutes to work our way through to get to the finish line here of this round of severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings that we have seen over the course of the last hour and 15 minutes. Kristen, the first warning was issued at 7:15. Here we are approaching the 8:30 half hour, and we're still with a tornado warning in parts of the area. I understand you may have a viewer picture available that was shared with us.
Yes, we do. So this is a picture that's 3 miles south of Waynesburg. This is in Greene County. So as Jeff was mentioning, after that storm passes, the warning is now over in Greene County. This is where that photo has been taken. So you can see the skies pretty dark there. This is what's sent in by a viewer. So if the storm has passed you, if you are now safe and you aren't seeing any vicious skies or heavy rains or anything like that, then of course we would love for you to send us pictures or videos. But if you are still in that area where the warning is still going on, you can see this other video going right now from Hobwood. The skies also in Fayette County there, that's where the warning still is until at least 8:45. So meteorologist Jeff Rosella tracking this with your certified most accurate forecast really for the better part of over an hour now, keeping you not only informed but safe. And Jeff, are we expecting this to continue? I mean, we see people now sending in some pictures. Doesn't look like heavy rains there, but you can see those skies are pretty dark.
Very angry skies there. One of the photos that we had shown right now was a really good picture of what we call a wall cloud, and you would often see those with severe thunderstorms. That's the picture right there. It almost has, if you look at it from the right angle, it almost has a UFO appearance to it if you look at it from the right angle, but that is a wall cloud that's moving in associated with severe thunderstorms, which we have seen in Washington, Greene, and Fayette County over the course of the last few hours. Thank you for sending that photo in. We certainly do appreciate it, and we're appreciated being able to share with viewers as to what you were seeing in your skies just a short time ago. Here's the way it looks on radar right now as we take a look once again, the tornado warning for a very small portion of Fayette County until 8:45. They cut this back right now, and really it's right along the Fayette and Somerset County line. Here's the rotating part of the storm. At least it is a minimal rotation at this point. The last check of the scan showed weak rotation, but still a rotation nonetheless. So it is probably within a couple, 3 miles of working its way toward the southern portion of Somerset County. Still, though, some heavy weather coming in behind it with heavy rains, some cloud-to-ground lightning, and still potentially some gusty winds in spots. This is now starting to cut off right around Connellsville and Uniontown. So I think at this point moving forward, next 30, 45 minutes in terms of shutting off the most widespread rain, it's really going to be focused on this side of 119 and down the Route 40 corridor, so east of Uniontown and Connellsville. So we're looking at the eastern half, if you will, of Fayette County that's going to continue to see some of the heavy rain falling over the course of the next 30 to 45 minutes. Still a couple of stragglers moving in through parts of northern Greene County right now, but nothing of a severe nature, and the rest of the area is seeing quieter weather as we speak. We're 14 minutes away from the expiration time of the tornado warning that's in effect for this portion of Fayette County until 8:45. We've seen a fairly consistent, albeit relatively weak rotation over the course of the last 20 minutes or so. I should mention, we've received no visual confirmation or any type of confirmation from Fayette County of a tornado on the ground. The warnings that have been in effect for Fayette County have been based on Doppler radar indications. The Weather Service will go out to both these areas, Greene and Fayette County, tomorrow to do surveys of the area. What they do with that is they look at a damage path, they look at the severity of damage, and then they'll classify what occurred in those areas. Whether or not it was a tornado. In the case of Greene County, it certainly appears to be one. They confirmed one visually, so they'll go and they'll give that a classification based on the damage that they assess tomorrow. Fayette County, there'll be a damage assessment team coming to your area again tomorrow as well to look at the damage, how the damage occurred, the severity of the damage, and then they'll classify whether or not it was a tornado in Fayette County or maybe it was straight line winds. Those details will be determined over the course of the next 24 hours. Tornado warning, 8:45, another 12 minutes in effect for Fayette County, at least a portion of Fayette County. It's not county-wide. It is a very small portion of Fayette County. And you can see it right there from just east of Ohio Pile down toward the Elk Park area. The rotating part of the storm, as I see it from our radar scan, which I just got a fresh one here, is right here. Whoop, let me get my telestrator rolling here. It's right here. And here's the county line. So it is getting ready to move into Somerset County in the course of the next probably 5 to 10 minutes at most. The storm moving in a southeasterly direction at about 20 miles an hour. Not seeing as strong a rotation on this particular scan or this particular one. So that is some very good news there. The rotation has weakened considerably over the course of the last 5 minutes. That said, I would expect this warning will be allowed to expire at 8:45 if it's not discontinued a few minutes sooner based on the latest scan that we got there on radar. Nonetheless, elsewhere you can see heavy rain that continues to fall, getting ready to move out of Connellsville and Dunbar. Indian Creek up toward Normalville and headed down toward Fairmont very soon. Jumonville, light rain right now. South of Uniontown, another push of heavy rain coming through Fairchance. The Chalk Hill area, Point Breeze down toward Elliottsville. And finally, as you look over toward the Mon River, here's the Mon River that cuts the division line between Greene and Fayette County. Here's the Mon River going down into, or up, I should say, from West Virginia, because it does flow north. So you can see that particular cell is right on the county line around Greensboro, on the northern tier, Masontown, down toward Point Marion and Davidson. You have another burst of rain there and perhaps some gusty winds as well, in addition to the possibility of some small hail. Maybe I haven't mentioned it enough that some of these storms have had the capability of producing some small hail, and that still could be the case in isolated instances. The good news is, as we get closer to the 9 o'clock hour, the rain altogether should be moving out of the area, save for maybe a leftover spotty shower, but the worst of the weather should be in our rearview mirror coming up here real shortly in the next 25 to 30 minutes. The warning itself for the portion of Fayette County, the southeastern-most portion of Fayette County, in effect for another 10 minutes from right now. It will be allowed to expire at 8:45, I suspect, based on what I'm seeing on the radar scans right now, as the core of the storm and the portion of the storm that had been rotating is now crossing over the Fayette County line into southern parts of Somerset County. So that is certainly good news moving forward. Again, if you're still watching from portions of Fayette County that are still seeing some of the heavy weather, please stay away from the windows and don't attempt to go outside until after the storm has passed. We've already seen some video and photos coming in. They were taken in a safe fashion. I would ask nothing less. Make sure it's safe before you venture out to do the same. After the storms have passed, if you have any damage of any type, whether it be to a structure, down trees, whatever the case may be, power lines, we'd certainly love for you to share those videos, those photos with us so we can share it with viewers and let them know what occurred in your neighborhood this evening. Right now, the warning continues for another 9 minutes from right now until 8:45. It has been cut back and targeted to a specific area of Fayette County, the southeastern-most portion of the county. The storm that prompted this particular warning is now mostly, probably 60% of it, 70% of it, has crossed over into Somerset County, and we've seen a weakening of the rotation over the course of the last couple of radar scans. So that is certainly good news. It looks like at least the rotating part of that thunderstorm is either right along the Fayette-Somerset County line or maybe has already crossed over into southern Somerset County. So good news there, as that warning will be coming to an end very shortly as the storm continues to move out of the area. Bigger picture, and again, my apologies to those of you that have been watching from other parts of the area that are not seeing impactful weather at the moment. Thank you for your patience and for sticking with us as we work our way through some of the severe weather going through the area this evening. It's been mainly focused in Washington, Greene, Fayette counties, with lighter rains elsewhere and through parts of Allegheny as well as Westmoreland counties. And even there was some rain in through parts of Beaver County earlier as well. That's all since cleared out, and things are improving at the moment and will continue to improve as we head through this evening and overnight tonight. We did anticipate seeing showers and storms tonight. Obviously, did not anticipate the storms to reach this level of severity in terms of having long duration rotation within the thunderstorm. So in that aspect, Mother Nature always surprising in what she may have up her sleeve, and that was certainly the case this evening. and through parts of Greene and Fayette County where there were multiple tornado warnings for an extended period of time. First warning was issued at about 7:15. That one was for Greene County. Fayette County was added shortly thereafter, and we're now approaching 8:40. So we've had pretty much a period of an hour and about 25 minutes where we've had tornado warnings in effect for portions of Greene and Fayette County. The good news is, again, in 6 minutes from right now, the warning will be allowed to expire, and the heaviest weather is going to be moving out of the area. Kristen, I understand you may have some new video that came in from a viewer.
Yes, Jeff. So viewers starting to send us video. What you're looking at right now, this is from Graysville in Greene County. That warning has since passed, but you can see in the sky there a little bit of clouds spinning around that darker area, some formation right there. So again, this is in Graysville, Greene County. This was sent in by a viewer here to us at Pittsburgh's Action News 4, and this is no longer the area that does have that warning that Jeff has been tracking. We're going on a little over 5 minutes for the warning that, Jeff, you are tracking. But from this video of what you're seeing, I know you were telling us earlier, Jeff, that there was that visual confirmation of what appears to be a tornado. Is this what this viewer is looking at?
You're seeing rotation within the lower cloud there. Whether or not, it's hard to say from this video whether or not that's touching the ground. Because of how the topography is here in western Pennsylvania, you can see the tree line there, and that's on the other side of the tree line. I don't know if that's a valley behind the tree line, but that's certainly a rotation within the lower level of that particular cloud. Whether or not that's actually in contact with the ground is hard for me to say at this point. The National Weather Service did get some video. I don't know if it's this video or other video that stated definitively to them that they confirmed the tornado was on the ground. So we'll have to wait and see, but this is certainly a very compelling video, and you can see the rotation there. At the very least, this is a funnel cloud, and the definition is, some people don't understand, there's a difference between a funnel cloud and a tornado. A low-hanging cloud, a thunderstorm cloud, can produce a funnel cloud, which is a rotation in the base of the cloud. It just stays classified as a funnel cloud. The second it makes contact with the ground is when it's classified as a tornado. So there is a difference between the two, but that's certainly a compelling video that's coming in from Graysville in Greene County. We appreciate you getting this video. I hope certainly you didn't put yourself in harm's way to do it, because we never want anyone to put themselves in a risky situation to get a photo or a video, but we do appreciate you sending it to us so we can share it with viewers at home. We're now 4 minutes away from the expiration time of the tornado warning for this sector, if you will, southeastern portion of Fayette County. The rain has pretty much let up altogether. The storm that prompted this particular warning is here, so it is just about out of the area. There's just sort of one flank left right along the Somerset-Fayette County line. The next scan should update, and that should be out of the area altogether. So I fully anticipate this warning will be allowed to expire coming up in the next 4 minutes at 8:45. Behind that particular rotating thunderstorm, there's an area of thunderstorms, heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, more garden variety thunderstorm activity, but still producing some heavy downpours of rain just to the east of Connellsville and Uniontown right now. So you're still going to get another burst of rain around Farmington, around Ohiopyle, coming up probably over the next 20 to 30 minutes. I expect this area of rain to move out, I'd say by about 9:15 at the latest. The back end should be moving into southern parts of Somerset County as well, and down in through northern parts of West Virginia. And behind it, again, just a couple of stragglers right now. Some lighter rain back around Rice's Landing and just north of Waynesburg right now. And we'll really focus in on Waynesburg and the areas of Greene County with that confirmation of a tornado there earlier in the evening to see what kind of damage comes out of that and how the National Weather Service classifies what occurred there over the course of the next 24 hours. So we're 2 minutes away from the expiration time. Tornado warning will be allowed to expire for Fayette County coming up at 8:45. And again, I thank you for your patience. I know sometimes that if your viewing habits are disruptive and you're not seeing bad weather outside your window, sometimes people can get frustrated. I thank you for your patience, because it's not always about what's happening directly outside your window. somebody else's window. It was a heck of a lot worse over the course of the evening with the multiple tornado warnings that were in effect across portions of southwestern Pennsylvania. So I thank you for your patience, and we're going to get you back to your regularly scheduled ABC Monday evening viewing coming up here in 2 minutes once this warning expires, but we want to stay with the warning all the way through to the end. Keep giving people the information that they need to stay safe and what's to come or when things are going to be moving out. So improving weather I do expect as we head beyond 8:45 and 9 o'clock this evening for this portion of Fayette County as the wet weather will be moving out. And behind it, you can see much calmer conditions should be on tap for the rest of this evening and overnight tonight. So we're 1 minute away from the expiration time. I want to give you a very big scale picture here before hopefully can send you back to your regularly scheduled viewing right now. You can see across the area, things have gone much quieter. A couple of spotty showers here and there because there is a boundary still to come through the area, but the worst of the weather, the most severe of the weather will be in our rear view mirror here really shortly, and then we'll be in certainly cleanup mode and assessment mode moving forward over the next 24 hours to find out what occurred in parts of Washington, Greene, and Fayette County. Those details will come over the next 24 hours as the National Weather Service makes their assessment of the situation and what occurred in neighborhoods in those counties over the course of this evening. As always, thank you for staying with me and staying safe and for sending some of that information in visually with the pictures and the video. Anything additional moving forward, much appreciated. We'll share it with you tonight on WTAE at 11 o'clock, and we'll have a complete update for you coming up tonight on WTAE at 11 o'clock. 8:45 right now. Warning will be allowed to expire. This is going to disappear very shortly here once the computer updates. Good news is that the tornado warning has expired. There it is. It is gone. Moving forward, quieter weather conditions the rest of this evening and overnight tonight. And again, a complete update tonight at 11 o'clock on WTAE. Kristen.